Welcome back to the May County Commissioners Corner, I think is the name of the show. Again, I'm Scott, this is Elizabeth, Josh, and Tamara, your three county commissioners. We're going to start off with housing. We have heard in a number of meetings lately, and we've been calling this a crisis at this stage. We've learned a lot during COVID. It has shed light on a lot of inequities and challenges within our community. And it has continued to exacerbate the housing situation, affordable housing situation in Summit. So, Tamara, take it away.
Yeah, I think that's right, Scott. I mean, in the 15 years I've been working on housing in Summit County in different capacities, I've never seen it as much of a crisis as it is right now. And I think there are actually a number of different reasons why that's the case. I mean, certainly we know short-term rentals have had an impact on our housing market. I don't think we can ignore that. But I think the other two things that the data is increasingly showing is the case are equally important. First, Summit County has always relied on our surrounding counties to sort of provide surplus housing for our workforce. In our most recent housing needs assessment, it shows that some of those counties that we've traditionally relied upon don't have surplus housing any longer. Lake County is perhaps the best example of that. And so I think we've got to look at that as well. And then the third piece of data that I just saw preliminarily this morning was that, you know, traditionally in Summit County, about 70% of our units have sat vacant for more than 6 months out of the year. There's some new data that's coming out that shows that maybe that is now only 50% of our units that are sitting vacant. And so we have a variety of different factors that we really have to try and mitigate on top of what was already a shortage pre-COVID. So as commissioners, we had our first conversation last week to look at the strategies that we're going to engage in. And our approach is really nothing is off the table at this point. We really want to put together, for lack of a better term, housing stimulus package that looks at every possible strategy that is out there to try and move the needle quickly to create more workforce housing. So we're certainly going to look at incentives to help folks commit to renting long-term as opposed to short-term. We're definitely going to look at our housing code and our accessory dwelling units and do whatever we can to make it easy for folks to build themselves and also for developers to build in Summit County. And we're going to continue to invest in some of the strategies we've used in the past, like building, except that we really want to explore other types of building models. We've put tiny homes on the table. We're certainly open to increased density, like apartment buildings. Really, there is no bad idea at this point. We need as many ideas as we possibly can come up with, and then we're going to have to look at the reality of the budget. And what can we afford to do? How can we leverage stimulus dollars to try and move the needle on this problem? Many of you have taken the time to reach out to me, and I know my fellow commissioners as well, to share your thoughts and ideas, and I very much appreciate that dialogue. We don't have all the answers, but we certainly are trying to find as many of them as possible, as quickly as possible, to try and get us ready for the next ski season, really. Anything you guys would add?
You know, one thing we've also recognized is there's not a single silver bullet.
There's
It's
not.
going to take a variety of really comprehensive thinking and looking at this across the spectrum. And another thing that we've heard loud and clear is that there is a need for rental housing. So we're going to be looking not only at the traditional forms that you've pointed out, but increasing even more opportunities for rental housing as well.
Yeah, and a study that we recently went through, our staff did, to show us all available land. We found out in Summit County, unincorporated Summit County, that we own as Summit County government, we're pretty land poor. We have very, very little, and especially compared to maybe some municipalities or other places. And so with that, we're trying to do the best with what we can, but it can't just be building. We're going to have to come up with other solutions, and it's really going to be about partnership and collaboration. We talked about collaborating with the Forest Service, hopefully, to use some potential ideas there with our towns to put some much needed infrastructure in place so that we could build on some land we have. And so again, like you said, no ideas off the table. We really want to brainstorm, we want to collaborate, and we want to hear those ideas from people. So if you have an idea, reach out to us. I mean, really, no idea is a bad idea right now. And we're looking at little slivers of land, 0.2 acres at a time, and saying how many tiny homes can we get there now, et cetera. And so things like that. We're also going to probably have to do, and Tamara, I think you coined this term and I loved it, a planning and zoning audit of, you know, our rules in place, and this is certainly the time to do that. Nothing like being an emergency to push us to do that. And again, all ideas are good ideas right now, and we'll just keep trying and hoping we find some things. But this winter is critical because right now this is going to absolutely change the character of our community if action's not taken immediately.
Yeah, it's been a long-standing philosophy of the board, previous boards, current board, of really wanting.
Excuse me.
Good
So
night.
sorry.
wanting this to be a community that you can both live and work in. And so we really are running the risk of displacing a lot of our workers and really changing our character as a community. I think that the towns recognize that. I think our business leaders recognize that as well. And so I think now is the opportunity for us to have everybody get together, get in a room, and talk about solutions. And to your point, Elizabeth, people that have ideas, people that have projects that they'd like to undertake in some sort of public-private fashion, they have property that they want to see developed in a way that it can be supportive of a workforce here locally. We'd love to hear from you folks and understand that those things are on the table and available. So a lot more to come on this topic, but as Tamara said, we really are trying to target making some improvements, getting some plans in place for the winter season. It's going to be a challenging summer. It's going to be a challenging summer for restaurants and retailers and others to get folks hired. The government, Summit County and the towns are struggling with seasonal workforce as well. And so we're going to do whatever we can to try to work through the summer, but it's going to be a tough one. So, okay. All right, so speaking of the summer, changing gears a bit, wildfire. So we know that this was not an epic winter by any stretch of the imagination in terms of snow and moisture, although again it is March 10th.
Epic
And
May.
it is-
10th.
yeah,
May 10th.
and it is
Yeah.
snowing outside as we do this show. So that's a good thing, and we're all cursing it, but also saying thanks. We need the precipitation. But we have had a drought. We continue to be in drought conditions. The western slope is in very dry conditions. And so we're sort of preparing ourselves for what could be a big fire season again after what was a truly historic fire season last year. And so, Josh, talk a little bit about some of the programs that the county has, some of the ideas and things.
Excuse me.
Excuse you.
So
Pardon.
sorry.
Anything that we're doing as a county to try to address wildfire prevention, wildfire preparation?
Well, there's a couple of great programs where individual homeowners and HOAs and neighborhoods can partner with the county in order to help with fuel mitigation and really restricting those fuels. One is our chipping program, and a lot of folks have taken advantage of that. And with May, that means that the chipping program is coming up soon.
Yep.
So this is an opportunity where you can clear out those those different fuels on your property and set those aside, and the county will come and take care of those and clear your property. There's also some grant programs where that HOA representatives or neighborhood reps can really contact the county and take advantage of some opportunities to do some more comprehensive planning around prepping neighborhoods. And as we've seen, in Summit County and in some of our neighboring counties, this type of fire mitigation and fuel reduction program has really been what has saved many communities. Of course, we saw this up in Wilderness just a couple of summers ago. And so that type of work and forethought is going to be important as we continue to move into fire season.
Yep. And I know you guys are going to do a town hall with regards to wildfire as well. I think that's coming up. I don't know that we've got the date settled on, but it'll be in the tail end of May, it sounds like, when we'll take care of that.
I think the 26th,
okay,
Wednesday.
Good. And so I think we're going to have you guys, we're going to have the fire chiefs, we're going to have emergency management, we'll have the sheriff there, probably some others that are involved in wildfires here locally, Forest Service, et cetera. And so that will be a good opportunity for folks to hear a bit more about what the forecast looks like, what the programs are that are available. And so, again, I would encourage everybody to pay attention, keep your eye out for information about that as it gets dialed in. Other thoughts about wildfire from Tamara or Elizabeth?
Yeah, I'll add in a couple of things. Restrictions slightly changed this year. We worked with our towns to do that and our fire districts, so we're all in support. I think Tamara brought up, we don't want to perpetually stay in stage 1 like happened before. And so this, we revised them last year. We knew that was a first time to try that out. And so revising them again will leave us a little bit of leeway there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for folks to know that Summit County is really held up statewide as the example of a community that has worked very hard to mitigate our fire damage. There are not a lot of counties out there that have a dedicated funding stream just for wildfire mitigation. There's certainly not a lot of counties, I think, that have put the investment that Summit County has into making sure we educate our tourists, for example, about good, safe behavior when they're in the backcountry, for example. So I'm really proud of the work that Summit County has historically done in this area, but there is a lot more to be done. Wildfires are a genuine threat to our community, to our livability. We all need to take it seriously, and we all need to take helping folks that visit our community take it seriously as well.
Yeah, and mitigation is ongoing. It's not a one-time thing. And you mentioned those funds and how grateful are we for strong Future 1A funds and that we have those. But mitigation is something that's going to continue to happen as we have better science and we're learning now. Aspens maybe hold off fire more than lodgepole pine, et cetera, et cetera. And so how can we work some of those things in?
Yep. And again, to Tamara's point in terms of investments, again, we are providing the Forest Service with funding to have dispersed rec crews that are out educating, monitoring the forest, helping to do prevention, and we have money that's going towards fire watch within the Sheriff's Office as well. And so those are programs that other communities around us have adopted as well because they've been incredibly successful in identifying dangerous situations and in educating the general public that maybe aren't quite as familiar with what could happen if a fire were to get out of control within Summit County. So that's great. Again,
One last, check
please.
our website for when the chipping program is coming to your neighborhood. It starts June 14th. All that info is on our website, and people are always say, we missed it. Check there. Find out your week.
And it only goes around one time
this
year.
Yep.
So make sure you pay attention and get your stuff out there and the right stuff out there during the program. All right, perfect. We talked a little bit about funding and financials. So Tamara, you want to talk a little bit about a change or an improvement that we're working on with regard to the budget process?
So one of our goals as a new BACP is to really be as transparent with folks as we possibly can. And one of the areas that we've identified to try and move the needle a bit on that front is our budget and our financials. And so as new commissioners, we're working with Scott and our staff to put together a community budget advisory committee. So we're in the end stages of putting that committee together, but those folks will really help give us some more community input into our budget process and to making sure that what we publish is understandable and relatable to folks, and that folks really do understand the priorities that we establish for our community through our budgeting process. So we're really excited to have that input from the community. We know of some other counties that have done it in the past, and it has really been a very positive conversation back and forth.
Yep, looking forward to, again, having some insights and some ideas from folks that are fresh to understanding what the budget is and thoughts that maybe they've had in their own experiences elsewhere. We look forward to that feedback as well. Anything else to add?
No, that's great.
I'll just add, and we've said this before, budgets really tell stories and they really spotlight the values of communities. And so this will give us an opportunity to really say, where do we want to invest those dollars? Everything that we've talked about today takes money, takes resources, takes staff. And so when we really get down to the budgeting process, all of that is crucial for the community to understand and also provide some input and feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Anything else you guys would like to add in general?
Get vaccinated, get vaccinated, get vaccinated.
And then you can
Encourage your friends to get vaccinated.
Yes, and then you can sit close with your colleagues and your peers and your friends.
Encourage your 20 to 29-year-olds.
In particular, yes.
Yes.
Good point.
Perfect.
Good point.
All right. Thanks you guys very much. Thanks everybody for watching. Stick around the channel for more wonderful programming.